The words were casual and dangerous. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman. One sentence from Donald Trump just rewired a whole conversation about power, violence, and who we choose to forgive. Tonight, Trump meets MBS and the Khashoggi question is back at the center. Stay till the end. We'll show the timeline of what authorities concluded, what Saudi courts did, and why this meeting matters to every U.S. voter. Trump hosted Mohammed bin Salman in Washington. The visit included high-level business and security talks and major deals. But instead of focusing on details, the world's attention snapped to one moment, a comment that sounded like dismissal of Jamal Khashoggi's murder and the U.S. intelligence findings that tied the killing to the Saudi crown prince. Why this matters? The U.S. intelligence community concluded MBS was involved. That's not rumor. It's a formal assessment that shapes diplomacy. Jamal Khashoggi, a Washington Post columnist and Saudi dissident, entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2, 2018, and never left. Turkish investigators, local reporting, and later international coverage documented his murder and the alleged removal of his body. Saudi authorities eventually charged and tried several operatives. U.S. intelligence publicly assessed that the killing was approved at the highest levels. The operation exposed networks, official denials, and a global debate about whether and how to punish states who cross red lines. In late 2018, the CIA concluded with high confidence that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman approved the operation that led to Khashoggi's death. That assessment informed U.S. policy and led to sanctions on individuals tied to the killing. The White House then and now response was complex, mixing condemnation with strategic restraint. That's why any friendly posture toward MBS raises alarm bells for human rights advocates and many lawmakers. Trump was reported to have said something along the lines of, "A lot of people didn't like that gentleman," in response to a question referencing Khashoggi. He also embraced MBS publicly during the visit, praising investments and security cooperation. These reactions have revived criticism that the U.S. is putting strategic and economic interests ahead of human rights accountability. Words matter, and in diplomacy, they signal priority. This one signaled a reset of relations that some view as dangerous. Geopolitics, money, and shifting regional priorities, Saudi investment commitments, announced billions, AI and infrastructure deals, potential arms sales, including talk of F-35 jets, and shared concerns about Iran and regional stability explain why leaders meet. Trump frames this as rebuilding ties and securing deals. Critics see a whitewash of past abuses. Ask yourself, if geopolitical leverage trumps accountability, what precedent does that set? Saudi Arabia's modern power plays, Vision 2030, the modernization push, and MBS's consolidation of control. The Khashoggi crisis is a key inflection point between human rights outrage and realpolitik calculations. The U.S.-Saudi relationship has long balanced energy, security, and investment interests against rights concerns. This meeting is the latest chapter. History shows these pivots are rarely one-directional. Short-term gains can carry long-term reputational costs. Lawmakers, human rights groups, and some press reacted strongly. Some pro-Israel and human rights voices warned against advanced arms sales or normalizing too fast without accountability. Others, including business leaders and partners, celebrated the deals and investment potential. Expect congressional scrutiny, hearings, and political heat over any defense technology transfer. Watch for congressional letters, debates on export licenses, and pressure from bipartisan advocates on human rights. Scenarios: 1. Full transactional reset. Deals move ahead, limited punitive measures. 2. Congressional pushback forces conditions or restrictions. 3. Continued civil society pressure shapes incremental accountability. Each path has ripple effects for U.S. credibility and regional stability. Whatever happens next will say more about U.S. priorities than any press release. A lot of people didn't like him. Casual phrasing or coded dismissal. Either way, the world heard indifference. And when a superpower signals indifference, it reshapes incentives across the region. Read the Medium Deep Dive for sources and timeline. Comment below. What should the U.S. do? Condition strategic ties on accountability or prioritize realpolitik? Subscribe for updates.